Hey everyone, welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star the Flippin' Hippo, and today's Thursday, April 9th, and we're going to talk about the newest buzzword, price gouging. So what is price gouging? Well, the definition of price gouging is: price gouging refers to the practice of raising prices to exploitive and unfair levels on goods and services that are in high demand and limited in quantity during natural disasters or other crises. So what it is raising the prices on essential items that are in high demand and very limited or hard to find during a disaster or a crisis. What it isn't is raising the price on luxury items higher than retail value. So if it is a luxury item, whether it is in high demand, limited, or not, it doesn't fall under price gouging. Only essential items do, and only during a natural disaster, a crisis, or some kind of state of emergency. So outside of what's going on in the world right now, last month, 2 months ago, if you had wanted to sell toilet paper for $50, you could have put it up for $50 and it wouldn't have been price gouging because we weren't in a disaster and no one in the government had decided at that point that toilet paper was an essential item during a crisis that you couldn't price gouge. Would you have gotten that much money for it? No. But that's the beautiful part of a free market. So price gouging is definitely raising prices to extreme levels, but only on essential items and only during disasters. It does not cover normal, quote unquote, normal times, and it does not cover luxury items. What do you call it then when you raise the price on luxury items? That's just the free market. That's capitalism at its finest. And as resellers, we should all understand that, and we should 1000% support it, because that's what pays our bills. Our small businesses are based on the fact that we have the right in a free market, in a capitalism, a country that runs on a capitalism kind of mentality. We can price our items at what we want. I can price my silver jeans at $50. I'm not always going to get $50 for them. Sometimes I take best offers or lower the price. But you can price yours at $10 or $20, whatever you want, because it's a free market. And I don't understand why so many people are having such a hard time grasping this or understanding it. At current, I'm seeing on Facebook and Instagram just so many arguments going back and forth on people. The best example I can come up with is that Nintendo Switch. People are claiming that any reseller who is selling the Nintendo Switch for higher prices than what they retailed in the box stores for is price gouging. It's not. You won't die if you don't get a Nintendo Switch. You don't need a Nintendo Switch to live. It's not an essential item. It's a want, not a need. And it's not price gouging if you raise the price. That's part of being a reseller and selling in the free market in a free country. So if you are a reseller, I really want you to 100% understand this. And so you should be absolutely supporting selling things at high prices, because that's how we all make a living. Now, of course, it does cover the essential items, and what is considered essential, unfortunately, isn't always up to us. Right now, hand soap and hand sanitizer are considered essential, and you cannot sell those. You can't price gouge them, and technically you can't sell them at all on eBay right now. They've banned them from the platform due to people taking advantage of the situation or price gouging. And also because I do need to touch upon this. Every state has its own laws and what it considers price gouging. Some states you have to be X amount over the retail value, and some states a penny above retail value, and it's considered price gouging. So because every state has its own laws in place, it's just easier for eBay to ban the selling of any of these essential items during our current disaster, just to make it easier, because the platform sells all across the country, all the different states. We all live in different states, so it's so much easier for eBay to just pull them all and say you can't sell them at all. It's unfortunate that we can't sell them on the platform. It's unfortunate because there are some folks in some areas who just cannot find toilet paper right now, or hand soap or hand sanitizer, and so they would normally turn to the online world to purchase it because they can't find it locally, and you can't right now. But I can kind of, playing devil's advocate, I can understand why eBay did that. It's so much easier for them to just say nobody can do it right now. Every state has different laws. Every state considers different price points, price gouging, and every state considers different items essential. And we don't really get a say in that. But the way the price gouging word is being thrown around, the way the media is talking about it, all of these stories we see coming around about people who hoarded certain items and wanted to sell them for much more, it has caused this unfortunate mob mentality. And there are a lot of buyers out there who are now using their new buzzword, price gouging, to sellers to kind of try to guilt trip people or threaten them or coerce them into selling things for a cheaper value. And the definition, according to a lot of people right now, under this mob mentality, is this luxury item costs more than I can afford, and therefore it's price gouging. And no, that's not how it works. It's a luxury item that you don't need. If you can't afford it, you don't get to buy it. Just like normal times. Just like any other time. If you don't make enough money to afford $1 million home, you don't get to have $1 million home. If you don't make enough money to afford brand name clothing, then you shop at Walmart. It's just how life is. And this new mentality of these buyers that are just, well, you're selling it too high and I want it and I can't, I don't like that. I'm not saying I agree with somebody going out and buying all of the Nintendos in their area to sell online. I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it. Let me put that out there right away. I don't agree or disagree with it. But as a reseller who does this full time and fully depends on this to pay my bills and support my lifestyle, I do enjoy the fact that we have a free market and we get to sell things at a profit to support ourselves. I don't like the word price gouging being thrown around by people who don't quite understand what it means. Or maybe they do understand what it means, but they just think, hey, everyone's throwing this word around. It's the new way to get things cheaper. I'll just write this seller and tell him, oh, this is wrong. This Nintendo was $100 cheaper at Target. You're price gouging. Oh, this is wrong. We're in a disaster right now. How dare you charge $50 for Miss Me jeans? That's unfair. I need new jeans and I can't afford. Well, then go buy some Old Navy's for $20. You know what I mean? So it has become this, the price gouging has become the definition somehow through urban legend, has really become this item costs more than I can afford and therefore it's price gouging, and that is not at all true. To reiterate what I said earlier, it has to be in a time of disaster or an emergency, which we are in, but it also has to be an essential item, okay? So anything that's not essential cannot fall under price gouging. Now, there are laws in place for retail stores to avoid deception and deceptive pricing that don't apply to individual sellers. So there, for big box stores and for retail stores, there are certain laws in place that to avoid that deceptive pricing. It'll say, like, if you have sold this can of Pepsi historically for the past X amount of years for $200, you can't suddenly at Christmas time mark this up to $600 and run a sale down to $400 to get more money for it. But that only applies to retail stores, and that again will differ from state to state. That does not apply for individual sellers such as us. We are absolutely allowed in a free market to take any luxury, non-essential items or essential items during a time that it's not a natural disaster and put them on the free market and price them however we want. It doesn't mean you're going to get the price that you price them at, but you're still allowed to do whatever you want in a free market as far as pricing. So that example of the jeans I gave earlier, I can price my silver jeans at $50. That doesn't mean I'm always going to get it, but I'm allowed to price it that high because it's a free market. And then you can go under me if you want. There are people who race to the bottom. There's that whole debate between the fast nickel and the slow dime. So in to sum this up, again, price gouging is only on essential items, and that is only during a time of disaster. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you guys one more time. And you can share this with your friends. If you can, feel free to quote this. If buyers are harassing you or sending you messages about your items and accusing you of price gouging on items that are non-essential or luxury items, you can feel free to tell them this. Price gouging refers to the practice of raising prices to exploitive and unfair levels on goods and services that are in high demand and limited in quantity during natural disasters or other crises. So it does not include your luxury items. One more point before I let you guys get back to being productive. Should you report buyers? Nope, not buyers. Should you report sellers? Should you report any sellers that you see on any of the platforms who are partaking in price gouging? That's going to be up to your own moral compass, okay? So if you're on eBay, you're minding your own business, and you come across somebody that has a listing for toilet paper, it's 3 rolls for $150, or Lysol or hand sanitizer for $1,000, and you come across that, and you feel it is your moral responsibility to report it, then by all means report them. I can't tell you guys what your moral compass is. I cannot tell you what to do in that situation. If you come across it naturally and it is legitimately an essential item and it is legitimately price gouging and your moral compass tells you to report that person, then please do, so that you can live with your own self and sleep at night. What I would not recommend anyone doing is going on a witch hunt. I would not recommend resellers sitting down for hours at a time and going on these witch hunts on these platforms looking for people to report. One, I see a lot of people being misreported, which again leads back to the people don't quite understand what price gouging is. So you should not be out there reporting other sellers for selling their luxury items at high prices. They're allowed to do that. That's not price gouging, and you should not be reporting them for that. Number one, because it's misreporting, it's not price gouging. But number two, why would you report another seller and take away their livelihood from them? Do you know, if you legitimately see something, like I said, that is wrong, by all means report it. But I actually see resellers bragging in Facebook and on Instagram that they're reporting these Nintendo sellers, and they're reporting people selling clothing and all these other items that are not essential. And unfortunately, right now, why this is so important and why I wanted to talk about it at the end of this video, why it's so important right now is because a lot of these platforms are running on skeleton crews and they're relying on bots. So if you report another seller for price gouging because they're selling a luxury item at a higher price than you agree with, there's not a lot of real human beings or employees to review that account or that seller's store or seller's closet or whatever, what have you. There's not a lot of real humans to review that report or to look at their store. And unfortunately, a bot can shut them down and get them completely suspended. And if you are inaccurately, or you don't quite understand what price gouging means and you're not reporting people accurately, you could be taking away someone's livelihood just because you feel like the need to go on this witch hunt and start reporting everybody left and right for selling things for too much money. And if you're doing it inaccurately and that person was legitimately selling luxury items that you reported them for, and there were no humans to review them, and the bots suspend their store, you could have just taken away somebody's business, somebody's small business they worked really, really hard to build. You could be taking food out of their kids' mouths. You could be taking the ability to pay their bills away. It's just not a good idea to go on a witch hunt for other sellers. We are all in this together. We are all resellers, and we are all a reselling community. There is no reason for us to turn on each other. But again, if you do see somebody legitimately doing something that is wrong, not just now, not just during the current situation, if ever you see somebody doing something wrong, then report them if that's what your moral compass tells you to do. But you shouldn't be on any kind of witch hunt to go after people in this time. It's just not cool. And especially if you're doing it, inaccurately. I've unfortunately seen some public figures telling folks how to report people or how to go after them, but without giving them any more information. Like, here's what price gouging truly is. And I think that is irresponsible. If you're a public figure, you shouldn't be giving people any kind of information that isn't all of the information or the full information. That is just irresponsibility at its highest level. So what I want to tell you guys is, if you want to report people, please do, but please do it correctly. That is my responsibility as a public figure to you guys, to make sure that you understand what price gouging is, to encourage you not to go on witch hunts, and to make sure that when you're reporting someone, you're doing it accurately and correctly. So the other thing about spending your time just sifting through the platforms looking for people to report, do you not feel like you could be using that time more wisely? Really? I mean, again, if you come across something honestly, naturally, and you want to report it, okay, but why would you spend hours looking for people to report when you could have been spending all those hours listing your own items, sharing your closet, doing affiliate links, making videos, spending time with your kiddos and doing a puzzle, going for a walk with your pet, doing any number of things that's good for you and your mental health, good for you and your personal time with your family or whoever you're staying home with right now, or just any number of things you could be doing for your business. You could legitimately be working and making money instead of going after other people. So I don't recommend going on any kind of hunts or witch hunts or price gouging hunts for people. If you see somebody doing something wrong, what is that they say? If you see something, say something. Okay. But spend your time being productive. Do things for you and your business, your family, your friends. Make sure that you're checking in with all the people that you know that aren't with you right now in your house. Do some FaceTimes, do some phone calls, write some emails, check all your family, check all your friends, make sure everybody's doing okay. Take care of the people that are in the home with you. Spend some time with them, do something fun, video games, board games, puzzles. Take care of your own mental health, go for walks, do whatever you need to do. And then take all the other time that you have to be productive and build your own business up. Kind of like stay in your own lane and worry about yourself. If you see something wrong, feel free to report it. But there are so many things that we can be doing right now. I talked to you guys in my live show the other night about not thinking of this as being stuck at home. Think of it as being safe at home. Being safe at home and having been given this gift of extra time to build your business and spend time on self-care, on your family, on your friends. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I just really want to make sure that everybody super understands that price gouging only counts for essential items, not luxury items. If it's not a need, it's a want. And it is a free market. So that said, you guys, go be productive. Go make some money. Take care of yourselves, really, truly. Please be safe, guys. Please be safe and take care of yourselves. It's a very unsure time. And we not only need to take care of ourselves physically by staying home and not getting sick, but the mental health. This is very trying on a lot of people. Depression and anxiety can easily creep in. So please take care of yourselves, guys. Be healthy, be safe. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and hit the thumbs up, guys. It really helps the channel. Support us also by subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. You can help us feed all these hungry hippos back here. Make sure you hit the little bell so you're notified when I put up new content. And make sure you're in our Facebook group if you're not already. It's called Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. There's a link down below where you can search for it. It's a really great group full of really amazing people from the reselling community. And it's not only chock full of really great knowledge for our small businesses and for reselling in general, it's chock full of people that we can interact with right now while we're all kind of isolated from each other. And if you want to get a hold of me, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, @flippinhippos, flippinhipposhelp@gmail.com. Go be productive, guys. Be safe. Thank you so much for watching. You guys really are the best. Bye.